All right. Welcome to our wellness hangout. I haven't done one of these for a while, and I am super excited to dive into this really fun topic of wellness, or at least I think it's a fun topic. So, welcome everyone, whether you are joining me live in the Zoom room today on this beautiful Thursday, or if you are catching this as a recording later on. I do not think it is an accident that you're here, and I am super excited that you are here to learn more about wellness and wellness foundations with doTERRA. So, as you are hopping in, just so you know, just a couple of housekeeping things before we really dive in is that if you're joining me live, there is a chat feature. So you're going to want to find that chat box. And as we go through, that's where you can ask questions, you can interact with me, you can stay tuned, you can stay live. If you are not joining live and you're watching this as a recording, probably out on YouTube or in a Facebook group, or maybe you signed up and you couldn't watch it live and you're grabbing this link through an email, you don't have a chat box. But that does not mean I do not want to interact with you. And so what I want you to do is I want you to make sure you check out the goodies and resources page where you found this recording, and reach out to me. You can always reach out to me. My name is Katie Glasgow, in case you don't know that, but you can always reach out to me at katie@magicwithkatie.com, because I want to get your questions answered. I don't want you to just sit here during this workshop and have a bunch of information thrown at you and walk away going, that was the biggest waste of my 45 minutes or hour that we spend together. And I didn't really learn anything. That's not my objective. I want to teach you. I want to answer your questions. I want to be here with you in your wellness journey. And that's what it's all about. So let's get started and let's dive in to being healthy from the inside out, or what I call natural solutions and wellness foundations. Okay, so let me see if I can get my slides working here. Okay, so first of all, some of you might not know who I am. Some of you are like, hey, I've listened to you a million times. And some of you are like, I don't know. Let's learn a little bit about this person. So my name is Katie Glasgow, and I was first introduced to the concept of doTERRA and using doTERRA as a modality to be a healer, basically in my home with my two little boys. And it was about, oh my gosh, it's been so long ago. It's been almost 13 years ago since I was first introduced to essential oils. And I kind of had them in my home and I dabbled with them for a little bit. I wasn't quite sure how to use them. And then I attended a workshop just like the one you're about to listen to. And I finally got it. It clicked why I needed to bring a little bit more wellness into my home and how I could do that really safely, effectively, and in a really simple way with doTERRA. And so fast forward 13 years later, and I have learned so much about wellness and holistic wellness practices. I've implemented them into my own home with my three boys. The little boy that was about 6 months old when I really started using essential oils on him is going to be 13 in August. And we have really seamlessly integrated a wellness approach into our home, and it's been amazing. And so what I'm going to teach you today is really why you would even need essential oils in your home. What are you, like, why would you look at these versus taking your child to the doctor if they aren't feeling well? Or what is so cool about essential oils? And we're going to dive into all of that today. So hopefully you have a notebook and a pen and paper handy that you can jot down some notes. Like I said, there's going to be, there's a replay page. So if you're on YouTube, go to the comment section. I've got it linked there. If you're watching this online, the link is there. If you're watching this, if you receive this in an email, I have a link to a page that not only has this recording on it and this workshop, but also you're going to receive all the goodies. And so all of you that are joining live, you're also going to receive all the goodies. Because if you're ready to take wellness to the next level, I want you to be comfortable and I want you to be confident in that. And some of you might be like, hey, whatever this girl says, I'm going to do. And others, you want to research it. And I want you to do that. And I want you to ask questions. So without any more to say on that topic, let's dive in to wellness. Okay. So first of all, I want you to ask yourself this question. What would you like to address in your health? I think a lot of times when I start to work with somebody in their health journey, it's like maybe you've heard some keywords, some buzzwords out there. I need to use essential oils. I need to be a little bit more holistic. Maybe you've been going to the doctor for something over and over and over again, and you're just not feeling well. You're not feeling yourself, but they can't find anything wrong with you, which is common. But it doesn't have to be common, right? When we come into this. So the one big question I always ask everybody when I'm working with them, whether they've been one of my customers for the last 10 years, or if you're brand new to essential oils, is what would you like to address for your health? And another way I like to say this is, what are we solving for? Okay. And a lot of times when it comes to our health, we're not taking forward steps in our health because we're really uncertain of this question. We don't know what we want. We're like, hey, I just want to feel healthier. And we don't dial in on what that means. And when we don't know what we're solving for, it's hard to find a solution. And then, or we find solutions and it starts to get really overwhelming because we're trying to solve for so many things all at once. And when we're overwhelmed, we can't make a decision. And so we sit in this, I call it the hamster wheel, where we feel like we're in a hamster wheel and we're not making forward steps, right? We make it way too complicated. I hear that a lot. Essential oils are too complicated. My health is too complicated. And I think a big way that we can kind of take this complication out is just ask ourselves this really simple question. What would you like to address for your health? Or what am I solving for? What do you want to really dial in on? Maybe say in the next 30 days or the next 90 days. Do you have some digestive issues that are getting in the way of your quality of life? Do you have headaches, pain, inflammation? I know that was me for a while with my hormones, and it was disrupting my life and being able to be the best mom I was for my kids. Do you feel like you're getting constantly not feeling well and you're having some immunity struggles? You don't have the energy and stamina that you need to keep up with your kids, or maybe even to be an employee or run a business. Are you not sleeping, right? All of these are really big wellness concerns, and they all overlap and they feed together, and we can get to the root of one, and you're probably going to see different options in different areas. But I really want you to ask yourself this question: what are we solving for? And if you're on the chat, go ahead and pop that in the chat. And if you're not on the chat, I want you to think about that. And I'm going to be sharing a form with you at the end of this class, or it's in those goodie resources. You're going to go over to that. You're going to click it and you're going to share with me, what are we solving for? That's a really big question. And I want you to also remember that by learning how to embrace essential oils with wellness and with doTERRA and with part of my community and my team, is that you get access to us to help you in this journey, right? And you don't have to guess. We're going to help you take the guesswork out. We're going to help you make it simpler. But the first question has to be, is what do you want to address, or what are we solving for today? And once we know that, we can go on. So the next thing we're going to do is, once we figure out what we're addressing for, we have to understand the modern approach versus the natural approach. One of the things I find with a lot of people I'm working with, and maybe you're like this, is that we used to have this outdated way of thinking that it had to be modern approach, meaning that we had to go to the only way we could take care of our bodies, and the only advice we have to listen to is going to our doctor, going to a medical professional, taking a prescription, taking an over-the-counter drug. That's called the modern approach. And we thought it had to be either the modern approach or this natural approach. And I was trying to find a little thing to put an X through that, but I couldn't figure it out. So just imagine we take that or, and we put a great big giant red X through that, because that's not how it has to be. In fact, I advocate for, we have a and both approach. We have a modern approach, and we also use a natural approach, and there's time and place for both of them. One of the things that we have to understand with a modern approach, let's understand these, let's talk about these a little bit, is that the modern approach is really designed to manage our symptoms. So it is what I call a reactive form of our healthcare. So something comes up. I'm going to give an example of my teenage son who sprained 2 ankles last season during basketball. he was doing things proactively, right? The natural approach. But when he sprained his ankles, he needed the modern approach, right? He's being reactive. His ankles are not feeling well. He has to do it. Maybe you have something going on in your health. It is reactive, right? There's something going on and we're being reactive in our health, right? When we're reactive in our health, we usually will go to those over-the-counter prescription medications, which again, they're designed to manage our symptoms. They're designed to take away our pain for a short period of time, that 4 to 8, 6 hour window. But but if we look at the natural, so that's just kind of like that modern approach. A lot of times we're going to get side effects. And did you know that the average American, by the time they're like 45 years old, is on 10 to 13 different prescription medications? And a lot of times that's because we go on one to solve one concern, and then we start to spiral because of maybe side effects or different things like that, or one thing turns into another. Now, again, the modern approach where we turn to this is not bad. It's there for a reason. It can increase our quality or extend our quality of life for just a little bit. It's there, but we're really just managing those symptoms. When we look at the natural approach, what we're doing is we're really trying to get into the inner workings of our body and figure out, hey, what's really going on right now, right? And how I look at the natural approach is that we are being very proactive in our wellness. And so hopefully we're kind of preventing things from happening to begin with. We're taking care of our bodies, we're honoring them, we're doing what we need to do, we're getting to the root cause. And then when those lifestyle emergencies come up, again, I'm going to use the example of my son with his sprained ankles. He sprained his ankles. He needed to have an x-ray. He needed to look at some modern approaches. He right away for some of the pain, he used some over-the-counter things, but he used very little of those because he had been doing a natural approach. He had been very proactive in his care. He was eating well. His nutrition was spot on. He was supplementing for his body. And so when something happened, his recovery was a lot less. It was very very little time off the court. And he had tools that he could use that were just as effective or more effective than some of the modern options that they were giving us. And so we were able to use the and both approach. And I think it's really important. I'm spending a little bit of time on this because I think it's really important that sometimes we come into this and we're thinking, oh, well, if I use essential oils or if I use more of a wellness approach to my life, I can't use these other options. And the reality is it can work together. We can come into harmony. And one of the things I love about doTERRA is that we're starting to bridge this gap even more. We have so many relationships with national wellness institutes and hospitals, lots of science and research to back everything I'm saying. Again, it's going to be in your, your goodies. Excuse me, in your goodies. Okay. So now we know it's okay to use both. And why we're using both is because we're getting to the root cause and we're allowing our body to do what it likes to do, and that is to heal. Okay. So what creates disease in the body? Let's also look at why are we not feeling well in the first place, right? Why am I all of a sudden full of these aches and pains? Why do I have these digestive issues going on? Why do I have chronic fatigue? Why are my hormones a mess? Go back to what you're solving for. And I want you to remember that as I go through the 3 root causes of disease. I feel like it's really, really important that we know these, because then we're going to find a solution. We're going to find something that you can use from the natural side that feeds into what creates disease in the body. So the 3 main: nutrient deficiency, inflammation, toxic overload. So we're going to look at each one, and then I'm going to give you a really simple way, right? I do not want this to be overwhelming, right? If you want to be overwhelmed, go to your big box retailer, go to Walmart, go to Target, go to Whole Food, and stand in the aisle with all of the products and try to figure out what you need, right? That's overwhelming. That's not what this is. We're going to make this super simple. So first, let's look at nutritional deficiencies. Okay. Nutrition is the core of our immune function. When our body has all of our buckets are filled, right? It's almost like we have a giant, I like to look at it as a giant jigsaw puzzle. Our body is a 1,000-piece jigsaw puzzle. And when our body has all of the pieces in the right spots for the puzzle, we can see this beautiful, beautiful picture, right? But what happens if we're missing some of the pieces of the puzzle and we don't put it together right? It looks like a jumbled mess, correct? Our bodies are the same way. When we have all of the pieces and all of the buckets are filled and all the pieces are there, we function optimally with energy, with clarity of thinking, with good mood, with great sleep, and with little to no inflammation, right? But according to the Environmental Working Group, I'm not just pulling this stuff out of my butt, is 95% of US adults are deficient in vitamin D. Okay, vitamin D, which is really, really important for a lot of our body functions. 94% are deficient in vitamin E, 61 are deficient in magnesium, not sleeping, have some hormones that are out of whack. Could be you're deficient in magnesium. Don't worry, I have a solution. Nutrition buckets that are not full are going to carry over into inflammation, headaches, lack of sleep, foggy thinking, lack of energy, digestive issues. Okay, did you have that as one of your number ones, right? Did you have that? So poor nutrition is the number one cause of poor health. And the majority of you are living in the United States of America where there is an abundance of food. So why do we have these nutritional deficiencies? Okay. A lot of that, we're going to explore that a little bit more, but a lot of that is because our foods are not grown in the way they used to be. And we live in an abundance of processed packaged foods that are null and void of any nutrients. So we're eating, but our body is not absorbing any nutrients. And so we go with a lot of missing pieces of the puzzle. Okay. So the second root cause of disease is going to be inflammation. Now, inflammation kind of calls, all of these three different causes, the nutrition, the inflammation, and the toxins, they all mesh together, right? But inflammation is the biggest contributors to inflammation are going to be sugar. It's in nearly everything we consume. Remember, go back to looking at that nutritional deficiencies. A lot of stuff is prepackaged and then it's filled with sugar so that we will eat it all up. The other thing that causes inflammation is stress, lack of sleep. We've come to live in this world where everything is constant. I mean, honestly, to get somebody to sit here and watch this 1 hour video is extremely hard, because we're so stressed and overwhelmed with all of the input that we have in our lives. So kudos to you for being here with me today. And it's also the toxins in our environment. So why are we looking at inflammation? What's the big deal about inflammation? Well, if we have inflammation in the body, it's more likely we've got autoimmune diseases like rheumatoid arthritis, those aches and pains that we can't get rid of, cardiovascular disease like high blood pressure and heart disease, GI issues like IBS, headaches, metabolic diseases like type 2 diabetes, lung diseases like asthma, mental illness like depression, and joint pain. So if you're like, hey, all this, it's not like, and some people say, I'm 46 and people say, oh my gosh, I feel like I'm getting old. Or it's just normal to feel this way as we get old. No, it's not normal. What has probably happened is you've lived several years of not taking care of your body, and your body is just, the inflammation is catching up. The poor nutrition is catching up. But the good news is it doesn't have to be that way. And there are solutions. We're going to look at them in just a second. The third thing is going to be toxic overload. So what is toxic overload in the body? Let's look first at what toxic load is. Toxic load is the third area we're looking at, and it's the source of disease and refers to the chemicals in our body that build up from our environment. Processed food, again, we're pulling in these processed foods, pesticide use, and personal care products. So maybe our cleaning products, our beauty products, our deodorants, our hairspray, our laundry soaps, those kinds of things. And the Product Safety Commission tested and found 150 cleaning chemicals that are linked to ADD, asthma, cancer, reproductive problems, respiratory problems, and more. These toxins that we're having in our home are playing a big impact. And I want you to think about this. One of the things that always just makes me stop and ponder and go, most of what we have in our home these foods, these processed foods, these personal care products, these toxic loads that are giving, adding toxic overload when the body can't, we've given the body too many toxins. We start to have it, we have all of these things, right? And this processed food that's causing the nutritional deficiencies, that's causing the inflammation, all of his stuff that we can go to the grocery store across the street and we can purchase. We can go to those big box retailers and we can purchase it. And so we think, or we've been led to believe, if we can purchase it on a store shelf and we don't need a prescription for it, or we don't need, it doesn't need to be locked up, it's not going to be harming us, and it can be further from the truth. Much of the foods that are on our store shelves are not good for us. The cleaning products are not good for us. But the reality is, and you're coming more and more awareness, if you're here, you're already in this space of like, hey, I need to be more aware of these things. So now let's talk about solutions. We know that there's those 3 root causes. Now let's talk about some simple solutions, and I'm going to give you some tips that you can start doing today, even if you don't have essential oils in your home. Okay. Number one, let's look at nutrition and bringing nutrition into our lives. Okay. So I believe in supplementation, but the first thing I'm going to tell you before we even get to supplementing, right, and get to getting and, like putting things into our body that are going to help fill in those cracks, the simplest thing that you can do to increase or upgrade your wellness is to just start eating real food. Okay? Eat real food. And so what I mean by eating real food is eat things that come in their own package. This is a super simple way. So that means eat fruit that comes in its own package. Eat an apple instead of applesauce. Eat a banana instead of, a jar of banana or peaches. Is like eat an actual peach instead of a jar of peaches, right? Fruit snacks are not fruit. Don't give your kids fruit snacks. Maybe every once in a while. We teach moderation in our home. But I just had this conversation with my kids last night. I'm like, you guys are trying to get too many fruit snacks. Come in the house, eat some fresh fruit, and then maybe we can have that other option. Get your fruits, shop for your fruits and vegetables. A lot of people will say shop on the outside of the aisle, right? Maybe it's as simple as saying, hey, I'm not going to go through a fast food for this week, right? We all have a different place that we're starting. Find one thing and start with it, okay? Start with just eating real food, okay? Making your food not packaged, like the boxed rice, mac and cheese and things like that. And I think you're going to notice you're going to feel a lot better. So we're going to eat real food. That's my number 1 tip, right? Because I'm going to talk about supplementation, but you cannot supplement yourself out of a shitty diet. Sorry, just doesn't work. Now, because of how our food is grown now, and because of how most of us are eating, we still do need some help and we need to supplement. Okay. So supplementation means we are just, filling in some of those cracks, like that vitamin D deficiency, that magnesium deficiency. We're filling in those cracks with some extras. Okay. But before I tell you about my favorite supplementation that I've been on since I started doTERRA, is that research from Harvard Medical School says we're just about ready to see our first, so anyway, let's take a look at the supplement industry. A study by the FDA from 2007 to 2016 detected contaminants in 776 dietary supplements produced by 146 companies. A study of the 3 leading memory supplements found that 2 of them didn't contain the active ingredients on the label. So the supplement industry is not heavily regulated, okay? They can contain lots of fillers and not much of the actual ingredients. Okay, so we need this supplementation, but what we're finding is if you're going to that shelf at the health food store, or maybe that big box retailer, there's all these options, and you hear like, oh, omegas are really good for my brain health. I should take an omega. And you see 20 listed there. 9 times out of 10, what is on that store shelf is not going to be a high quality. Your body is going to pee it out. Okay, so your sewer system benefits more than you. Okay, so here, the second solution I'm going to give you. So we're going to eat real food. We're going to start to shift and eat more real food. Shop at farmers markets, those kinds of things. Lifelong Vitality supplements. This is what I started with in 2012. So 12 years ago, I started taking these supplements and I still take them every day. And every once in a while, I'll be like, oh, I get a little lazy and I get a little lax. And guess what happens? I start to feel it in my joints. I start to feel it in my energy. I don't have the same stamina when I'm not taking it. Okay. So this is going to be a 3-pack. It's got the Microplex VMZ that is going to help you with your micronutrients. It fills those buckets, those nutrient buckets in your body. It's made with whole food ingredients. It's 95% bioavailable to your body, meaning that your body is going to actually absorb what is in it. Okay. So I could sit here all day and share testimonials with you. We have a lot of doTERRA babies, okay, from women that had been told that was never going to be a possibility for them without some kind of intervention. But when you give the body what it needs, this can happen. Maybe you've heard of somebody, maybe you're here because of lifelong vitality. A lot of the people, when I first started doTERRA, this was like the only product I talked about to everybody because it was so good. And I still have people, 13 years later that are with me in this journey that are still taking lifelong vitality every day because of how amazing it makes us feel. Okay. So this would be a simple solution for pretty much all of us to be proactive in our health. And it's going to, when we get these nutrient buckets filled, we start to fill in those puzzle pieces, we can start to have, the fatigue, the memory loss, whatever that was for you, we're going to start to see a shift. Okay. Another thing is there was some clinical trials that were done. I'm going to share more of that in the handout that we have, but I do want you to know that this has a 30-day complete money back guarantee on it. So if you tried it for 30 days and you are, and you're not feeling like, hey, this isn't working, then you can send it back and get all of your money back. I have had people do this, and then what happens is they have realized how much they felt better by doing it. And I actually just had somebody post in the group that their numbers had dropped, their cholesterol numbers had dropped by 88 points after doing this. So that's something that we see a lot of with our lifelong vitality supplement. So if you're really looking for that, like, hey, biggest bang for my buck for how I can move forward in my wellness journey, start these and eat real food. And you will see, you will be like a different person. In 30 days, you'll start to see a difference. In 90 days, you are going to see, like, it's going to be amazing. Okay. Also, we're going to look at, again, filling in the gaps and kind of resetting our digestive system, again, with the nutrients. And if you wanted to specifically focus on gut health, which is going to help with mood and balances bacteria, promotes positive balance, supports healthy digestive function, you can look at our PB Restore. This is those really good probiotics or digestive enzymes that help break down the foods we're eating. These would be more for if you're really having some skin health problems, some, and your digestive issues, maybe you're bloated a lot and you're having slow digestion. These would be 2 great products as well. So, okay, now let's start to shift a little bit to that inflammation. We looked at these these things. I want you to all come back to me for a minute. If you're kind of like starting to zone out and doing your laundry and all those things, I know I like to listen to calls and do multiple things at once as well. So let's look at sugar. Sugar was the #1 reason that we have inflammation in the body. So this is all coming from those processed foods, and they taste so good, right? The sugary drinks and the donuts and, and everything. And our body needs carbohydrates. It's the body's main function of energy source. But the majority of carbohydrates that we're consuming are having too much sugar in them, right? So I want to ask you this question. Do you know what percentage of diabetes cases have increased in America since 1960? Do you guys know? Anybody know? The answer is almost 700%. 700% of an increase since the 1960s. And then the second question, how long does it take the average American to consume the same amount of sugar that our ancestors from over 200 years ago would consume in a year? 2 weeks. 200 years ago, my great-grandmothers could consume the same amount of sugar in 1 year that I might consume in 2 weeks. Probably not me because I've really gotten off most sugar. But that is frightening to me. And so we wonder why we feel like crap and we have aches and pains. We're not eating well, and then we're consuming a lot of sugar. Okay, a lot of sugar. You would be amazed by look at your ingredient labels. This is a simple way to look at this. Look at a nutritional label and look at how much added sugar something has. Now, there's going to be a lot of things that are just like natural sugars, like if you're eating some maple syrup on your pancakes, or if you're having some raspberries or blueberries. These are natural sugars. But if you look at the added sugars, you're going to go, oh my gosh, your eyeballs are going to pop out of your head. Okay, so we're looking at in cardio. So what this all feeds into is what we call our cardiometabolic health. You've heard the word metabolism a lot, probably. You've heard that word a lot. And metabolism, a lot of times we think about it as our ability or inability to lose weight, which is not true. Our metabolic health has 5 pillars to it. The 5 pillars of metabolic health are going to be your blood pressure, your blood sugar levels, your cholesterol levels, your waist circumference, and your BMI, your body fat mass index. Okay, and so all of those are going to feed into our cardiometabolic health. And when our cardiometabolic health is on fire and we have a healthy metabolism, a lot of the inflammation, a lot of the other things that are causing those root causes of disease are going to kind of fade away. That type 2 diabetes, that's 100% lifestyle. Okay, some people will say, no, it's not. No, it's not. Yes, it is. It is lifestyle. Type 1, not so much. That is genetic, can be genetic, but type 2 is 100% lifestyle. A lot of other things like these heart issues and things like that. Heart disease is still the #1 cause of death in the United States. Why? Because only 6.8% of the adult population of the United States has the 5 healthy biomarkers without medication. Okay. Only 6.8%. So chances are, if you're listening to this webinar, you are not falling in this 6.8%. So what do we do about it? This is what's causing inflammation. So if you think back to what are we solving for, if you were solving for something that is primarily coming from inflammation, this is where we need to start to look. Okay, so we have an entire system, and I need to update my slides because they've added some different things to this line now, but we have an entire line that is really focused in on our metabolic health. If you really want to focus in on your metabolic health, you can come and you can, like, I have some other things on here. Just a second. Oops, sorry. I just had a new person join and I'm trying to get them into the waiting room. Okay. So if you really want to know about cardiometabolic health, I have an entire class on this. Just ask for it. But what I'm finding with this is if we've got hormone stuff going on, if we've got whether it's hormones, whether it's, fatigue, whether it's brain fog, whether it's we're not sleeping well, we've got some cholesterol we want to lower. This MetaPower line is where we're going to focus. Today, I'm only going to talk about a couple of the components of it and how you can easily start these to start to make shifts in your metabolic health. Okay. So again, we're looking at this inflammation piece a little bit more than some of the others. Okay. So let's look at the MetaPower system. There's a whole thing. Again, remember, you can come and join me for that one later if you have more. So I'm going to focus in on 2 of the products of this, the MetaPower Advantage. So this is a collagen, and this is one of our award-winning collagens. And this isn't just collagen. This collagen is like a buzzword right now in the industry. And for a long time, doTERRA is like, hey, we're not going to have it. There's not a quality source of collagen. There's enough other companies making it, and we're just not going to do it. And then they started to relook at collagen and the benefits of collagen if we go beyond hair, skin, and nails. So this collagen is going to help with hair, skin, and nails, just like most collagens on the market. But it's also going to do a little bit more. And it's going to do a little bit more because we've added several more strands of collagen to this. So we're not just have the collagen that helps with that, but we have collagen that is going to help with our longevity genes, which are essentially the genes that help us age and age gracefully or age in decline. Okay. It's also going to support lean muscle and connective tissue. It will help you with your skin elasticity. It's got something in here called NMN. So I want you to go and Google that or ask me questions if you want that. Again, this is kind of our basic intro class, and I don't want to overwhelm you with too much. What I'm going to tell you is MetaPower Advantage is amazing. I had been doing a lot of things for my hormones, and when I added this in, a lot of my hormone things, which is a function of our metabolic health, a lot of my hormone things started to dissipate and started to become much easier. Okay. A lot of people promote have had a lot of weight loss with this. Some people just your cognitive, your brain function, just lots of different ways that this advantage has helped us. Okay, then the next product that we just added in is our electrolytes. And I'm talking about this because electrolytes are actually very important when it comes to our metabolic health and our hydration levels. And so when we are hydrated, right? So just we've got that puzzle that we're looking at when it comes to our body. And when we are hydrated, our body again can function more optimally. So electrolytes are essential for various bodily functions to maintain proper muscular, our nervous system, regulating our body's fluid balance. And what's a little bit different about our recharge is it's got four different types of magnesium in it. Do you remember at the beginning when I shared that chart on what a lot of us are nutritionally deficient in? One of the things was magnesium. This magnesium that's in these electrolytes is going to come in and fill in some of our holes with magnesium, and magnesium is going to attribute to helping us sleep, helping us stay hydrated, and other different forms of the body. Deep ocean minerals, so our minerals or our micronutrients, again, are going to be imperative in our recharge, okay? And so this hydration, you might not think of hydration as being part of healthy metabolism, but it truly is, because it helps get those in the right ratios. And when we're properly hydrated, our blood sugars can regulate a little bit more easily, and our blood pressure, which again, if you remember from our, the 5 metabolic pillars, blood pressure and blood sugar are 2 of those pillars that we need to look at. And so when we're hydrated, it helps our bodies regulate a lot of this. Okay. I want to show you just a couple of quick before and after pictures of people that have used the MetaPower line, that had a really great thing. So I want to just look at the young lady that's on the top left. She's been using MetaPower for 4 months, and she's had amazing results, specifically with improvements on her face, eyes, and hair. Like, look at the difference in, just that glow up for her. The gentleman on the bottom left experienced improved elasticity, darker hair growth, but he got his blood work done after 3 weeks on MetaPower, and it showed a 40% decrease in cholesterol, 25-point decrease in LDL, 57-point decrease in triglycerides. And I know for myself, I have had the last time I checked, I'm due for another checkup soon. The last time I had a decrease in 27 points in my cholesterol without changing anything else in my body. So lots of good things. And then we've got some skin spots and a 58-year-old lady had, and after using the collagen, her skin spots kind of went away, because our skin is a reflection of the health. A lot of people will ask me, hey, what skincare do you use? And I can tell you all day long the skincare I use, because of course it's doTERRA. But really, my skin is in the condition it's in because of the hydration I do, because of the internal things that I do with my body. Okay. So these are just a couple of those benefits of MetaPower. Okay. So if we go back to those root causes of disease, we had the nutritional deficiencies. the inflammation, and the reducing toxic load. Okay. And so a lot of those, again, start to drink more water. You know, you can add recharge to it, but even if you don't have recharge, just start to hydrate yourself more. Start to do, you know, instead of drinking sugary drinks that are full of sugar or full of other things that are dehydrating us, hydrate yourself, eat whole foods, and then we can start to implement some of these other things like that lifelong vitality, or maybe for you, it's the recharge. Don't worry, I'm going to show you something at the end that I think that you're going to like. Okay. So again, let's look back at what are we solving for? Okay. What I just went through, those 3 root causes of disease, a lot of what the solutions that you can seek are going to be when we get to the root, right? We're looking at that natural approach to healthcare, not the modern approach to healthcare or the and both that we like to look at. But what I want to kind of shift into now is essential oils, because a lot of people only know doTERRA as essential oils, but I haven't even talked about essential oils yet. So right now we're going to do a couple of quick highlights of how we can take, like, hey, a lot of this stuff, we're going to get to the root of what's going on with those lifelong vitality, the recharge, and different, you know, internal things, the hydration that we're doing. But what about the other things? We can still incorporate essential oils into a lot of them. And I'm going to show you, hey, if I've got digestive issues, what are some other tools I can bring in? If I've got immunity issues, what are some oils and some other tools that I can bring in? But first, let's talk about the 3 cool things about essential oils. They're safe, they're effective, and they're affordable. Okay. So number 1, we always have to remember they're safe. Essential oils, they have had, nothing has been added to them. Nothing has been taken out of them. They're pure oils. There's no fillers, no synthetic ingredients, and no dilution. Independent lab tests show that the majority of brands available to consumers are not pure. Okay, I'm going to post a link when you have your goodies and resources page to a study that shows that of an independent third party that started to look at different essential oils. So the essential oils you get on the store shelf are not the same as doTERRA. So they are pure, and when they're pure, they're going to work a little bit differently in the body, and they're going to be a little bit safer. Okay, we only source from our ideal environments. Every batch of oil is tested for ideal chemical constitutes. Over 54 tests are done on each batch of doTERRA oils. And actually there's a QR code on every single bottle that you can look up, and on the source to use site, there's a little thing, I don't know if you can see that. You can see all the testing. We have full transparency. And so when you use these essential oils, they're going to be very safe. You do not have to worry about them, you know, not being safe for your grandchildren or your children or yourself. They're going to be safer than anything we have on the market. And they're also going to be effective. So that's the second cool thing about essential oils, is that they're really, really effective because of that purity, because of how they're sourced. They're getting into our cells. And when something can get into our cells, okay, we can get into our cells, we can create this true body healing. Remember when we looked back at that chart at the beginning, the modern approach is masking symptoms. And a lot of times it's masking symptoms because it can't get into the cell. It's a synthetic that our body doesn't understand. Therefore, it cannot get into the cell, where a lot of disease is rooted, where we have a lot of damage. But when we're using an essential oil or a food that is whole and natural, like a banana or an apple, our body understands it. And when our body understands it, it can get into that cell, and we can have a lot of really effective results. And so a lot of times when people tell me, hey, I've been trying all of these things and doing everything my doctor says, but I'm not getting results, it's because the doctor is, again, the doctor's not doing anything wrong, right? He's doing his job based on the knowledge he has. He's just trained in a different modality, which is essential oils. We can get into the cells and we can get to that true healing, and they can be effective. Okay. Now, the third cool thing about essential oils is they're affordable. So yes, there is an initial investment in the essential oils or in the wellness products. And maybe it's a monthly investment if you're doing a consumable like that Advantage collagen, but it's still cheaper than illness. And a lot of times it's going to be a lot cheaper, right? I want to just give you an example of an ear infection or an ear discomfort. It's what we like to call it. Is that, okay, I'm gonna use when my son a couple of months ago, there was a lot of stuff going around at school and there were some eyes that were getting pink and gunky. Okay. And so I knew this was going around and he came home one night and I'm like, your eye looks a little red. Does it feel weird? And he's like, no. And I'm like, you know what? We're going to be proactive. So I took some lavender and I took some tea tree, which is melaleuca, right? If you look at my price per drop, it's 9 cents for the tea tree and 10 cents for the lavender. Okay. So I put a drop, like I just actually went upside down with the bottle. So I didn't even like put a full drop. I maybe had a half a drop. So if we look at that now, we're looking at maybe 10 cents, right? 10 cents worth of oils. And I took it and I rubbed it all around his eye. I'm never going to put the oils in their eye, but I rubbed it all around his eye before he went to bed. And I did that the next morning. And I did that for several days after. And his eyes never got any more redness to them. And he never got he never was actually, we didn't have any time away from school. And it was pennies per drop that I was able to take care of that instead of having it linger on and on, trying to get him in for a visit and all those things. Now, I don't want you to think I never take my kids to the doctor, because I do. But the reality is, because I have I'm very proactive in our health and I have these tools in my home, it's very, very infrequently. Our doctor jokes with me when I take the kids in. He goes, I don't know what you do with those crazy essential oils, but keep doing it because I never see you, right? He never sees us because we're taking care of things at home and on our own terms with something that is safe, effective, and affordable. Okay. So it is a very, very affordable healthcare option. Okay. So now let's kind of look at a couple of different things. I'm not going to spend a whole lot of time on this because this is what we're going to dive into when we get to specialty classes, when you become a member of my community, or we really focus in on your wellness goals. Okay. So if immune support was one of the things that you had as that area of concern, which immune support, especially in my home, is a big deal because we have kids and they are exposed to a lot of things, and I want them to be healthy. So these are some of our oils that we're going to specifically use for immune support. And I'm always going to have them at home. Okay. Oregano. This is not an oil that I'm probably using daily, but it is an oil that I always have in my home because it's going to help with those infections that come up. Tea tree. This is, again, one, we actually use this one quite often on cuts, scrapes. If the eye is under discomfort, if the ear is under discomfort. Somebody just said, hey, I'm going to Europe and I need a bed bug spray. Tea tree was top of the list. On Guard. This time of year, this is diffusing in my home always, right? This is going to be diffusing in my kids' diffusers at night while they sleep, while their little bodies sleep. If you're like, hey, I need a really, really simple way to get started with wellness. I'm not ready to take supplements. I don't care about that root cause of disease. Let's get you started with On Guard. Okay. Frankincense. This is going to be great for internal inflammation. We can take this one internally. We can use it for immune support. It's also going to be great. We can apply it to our skin, and it's going to be amazing for scars, cuts, wrinkles, those kinds of things. So one of the things I'm going to mention is that when we're using essential oils, they have multi-uses. We're not just using them for one thing and one thing specifically. We've got a lot of different things that we can use them for. Okay. Now let's start to look at some medicine cabinet basics, right? for all of those little life emergencies. These are kind of like my Dr. Mom oils that I always have with me. We've got lavender. We're going into allergy season right now, the sniffles, the sneezes, all of that kind of stuff. Lavender, lemon, and peppermint, that combo right there is going to be amazing for the sniffles and the sneezes. Okay. Lavender, it's calming. It's calming, calming, calming. Lemon helps get the tree sap out. It helps with, you want to reduce toxins in your house, put some lemon in with vinegar into your washer, and that's going to help be a laundry boost, and it's going to be a fabric softener. Okay. Peppermint, energy and focus. Digestin, maybe you've got those digestive issues and you just need a little bit of extra support while you're getting the internal to kind of catch up with the external. You can just simply rub Digestin on your belly. Breathe. This is going to be for anything respiratory. It's going to help you breathe. Okay. So these are some of our medicine cabinet basics, our first responders. We've got stuff for pain and inflammation. Deep Blue is going to be our best friend. If you've got pain and inflammation, Deep Blue and Copaiba are going to be your best friends. Okay. If you're really looking for mood support, we've got Balance and Adaptive and Serenity. So maybe you're like, hey, what am I solving for, Katie? I really want to I want to focus in on my mood and emotions. Maybe we're going to start with that collagen and the probiotics, because those are amazing for mood and emotion. We're going to get to the root, and then we're going to have some tools like Balance and Adaptive and Serenity. These would be the three that I would say, hey, get these tools, and this is how we're going to focus in on your mood and your emotional support. So that is, the essential oils can play a really big part, and it all depends on, right? So if you're at the point in this presentation, you're like, oh my gosh, that was a lot of information. It was so much good information, but I don't know where to go next. That is okay. That is what we are here for. We're here to be your guide, to make this simple, because there is a lot of products that you can choose from. There are a lot of options that you have when it comes to your health. There's doTERRA options, there's outside of doTERRA options. They're all over the place. But that's what we're here for, is we are going to make this simple, and we're going to break it down for you so that you find a way to bring essential oils into your home that is not confusing, that is simple, and that's focused in on the results that you desire. And then we'll take it one step at a time. When I first got started with essential oils, it was primarily with lavender and tea tree for my little boys. And then it graduated after those two oils, it graduated to the Lifelong Vitality. It took me a while, and then I was like, hey, I want the skincare, right? And then I wanted to do green cleaning. It's been an evolution to where I'm at today. And that's what we're going to help you with and walk with you side by side. Okay. So how can I get these oils into my home? Let's chat. If you already have access to wholesale pricing, meaning you're already a wholesale customer, you can go to doTERRA.com, you log into your account, and you get started. Okay. That is the easiest way. If you haven't had a wellness consult in a while, you just reach out to us. We'll help you with a wellness consult. If you're like, hey, I'm feeling like I've got all these supplements, I don't know what to do with them. I've got all these oils, I don't know what to do with them. You have access to a wellness consult every 30 days with your doTERRA leader, right? Where we'll help you get connected in. So if you need one of those, reach out to the person that invited you to this, and we'll get you set up with that, okay? Or you can walk and hop into your account, you can find some options, and you get your wholesale pricing. Now, if you are not a customer yet, and even if you are, stay on, because I've got something else to show you. If you're ready to say yes, you're like, hey, I'm really ready to try this next step. There is a link to a form on your replay page, and in the comments, wherever you're watching this, I want you to fill out that form, and that helps me know where are you at in your journey, how can I help you, and we'll start to this conversation of how we can work together. If somebody else helped you get started or invited you to this, I still want you to fill out that link, because I will get you connected back to that person, okay? So that they can help you. So if you're ready to say yes, the first step is you're going to fill out the form. The second step is, let's look at the 3 ways to purchase, okay? You can purchase retail. I do not recommend it. It's usually what you do if you go to a chiropractic office and you're out of Deep Blue and you need a tube of Deep Blue, okay? The majority of people, I would say 99.9% of the people, opt into what we call a wholesale account. You become a wellness customer. And as a wellness customer, you have access to buy everything 25% below retail. There's no cost to become a wellness customer. It says on here 35 for a full membership. I need to change that. You don't have an obligation to sell or teach. It's always an option, but you do not have to do it. There's no minimum monthly orders. You just are able to enjoy wholesale pricing. And the third way is that you can opt in and you can get oils below wholesale. So you get all of the benefits of number two, but you get some additional savings when maybe you purchase as a kit. You get, you start to order monthly. We have a great loyalty rewards program that rewards you for being a loyal customer. You can get points back and doTERRA dollars back. That's something that we'll talk about once you get your wholesale account. Okay, so the next step is we got to get you your wholesale account. Okay, so how are we going to do that? Okay, we have so many options. Again, you need to fill out the form because that will help me put together a great system for you to get started that includes the products that are going to help you solve for the solutions you are wanting to solve for, plus get them into your home in a way that works for your budget. Okay, so I just want to highlight a couple of these. The first one is going to be these little collections. So if you're like, hey, I really just want it right now, I need it to be super simple, I don't want it to be overwhelmed, I've got a lot going on in my world, and I want to start to reduce the toxins because I know like my cleaning products and my air fresheners and all of that, they're wreaking havoc on my health, and I just want a simple way to start. We've got these two little bundles right now. Sorry, if you are already a wholesale customer, you can't access these. These are only for brand new people right now. But what these are is you get 4 full-size oils. You can either choose the citrus bundle or the forest bundle. And then you get 2 mist plug-in wall diffusers. And so what these are, they're like little motion activated diffusers that you screw the oil to the top of the thing. I have one right here. Looks like this. You plug it in, you turn it on, and then I can't turn it on because, you know, it's not plugged in. And then it slowly mist out into the air. So this is going to help your home smell really good. I like both of them. But I like the Recent Your Home Citrus Bundle for this time of year because it's got some really great oils to have your home smelling nice and springy and cheerful and all the things, okay? So that is one way. So this is just an example, okay? Now, and then you only have 4 oils that you need to figure out how to use, and you've got 2 plugins to help you get these oils into your home. Now, the second thing, this can be if you already have your wholesale account, you have access to this as well. Again, just another idea. I just want to show you some ideas. If you're solving for fatigue, sleep, hair, skin, nails, digestive, mood, overall want to feel good, you want to start to get to the root, you want to start to piece in those puzzle pieces like we talked about, we have something called Power Packs right now. And it's got, remember how I talked about like the recharge, the electrolytes, how they were so good. And then we had Advantage, the award-winning collagen that has that stuff called NMN in it. And then we had those probiotics, which were really good for digestive health. We've got these all in a combo, okay? I'm going to be doing a micro class next Tuesday just on this. If you want more information on that, just send me a quick message and I will get more information. But what you do, because remember, we want everything super simple, but we want to see some big impact, is these are 3 little sachets and you put 1 of each in some water. You can put it in a shaker bottle or you can put it in a quart jar, blend it up, and then you drink it once a day. That's it, right? And they have, when you purchase these, there's some savings with them. And so it's $150 for all three products, right? So that's a month-long supply for you to do it every day, which ends up being less than if you were going to get a coffee or a sports drink or something like that at the gas station every day, okay? So it can easily replace anything else, any other beverage that you're drinking besides water. Okay, again, we're going to make this simple. We want to make it affordable. And I cannot tell you how good you will feel after 30 days of just doing this little packet. Okay, so you put them all together and then you just take it. and you're getting your probiotics, so your digestive health is going to get better. You're getting your energy from your NMN. You're getting recharged with your electrolytes. Oh my gosh, like I am hardly, the only reason I've been drinking coffee lately, I've been doing this little power pack for a while, is I just like that. I still like the taste of coffee. But I don't really need it because of how good I feel with these. So these are just examples. Once you fill out the form, once we get connected, I'm going to help you walk through and figure out what works best for you. We'll get you a shopping link. We'll get you all of the goodies. Okay. So just a couple of more super quick notes. I always like to make sure that what I'm buying, like, hey, is there a return policy on it? What if I get this stuff and I don't like it? Okay. If for any reason you aren't completely satisfied and return your purchase within 30 days, you'll get 100% product credit, just try something else, or 90% returned back to your card. That is product that is opened, that you've tried, no risk. So if you get it and you're like, oh, I'm not sure if I should have gotten this, you're taken care of. There's like, so really, like, I guess what I'm saying is, what do you have to lose? What do you have to lose? Probably nothing. Okay. So what you can expect from our team is you are also, if you are getting started, you're going to get a welcome packet. You're going to get personalized coaching. We have continuing education. We have lots of groups. You have ongoing support and community. We are here to support you. We want to help you take the guesswork out of your wellness and make it simple for you. We're going to be here every single step of the way. Okay. So your next step is you're going to fill out the form. Okay. And if you can't find it, again, message me, Katie at Magic with Katie. It should be on your replay page. You're going to see that form. You're going to fill it out. You're going to be in contact, and we are going to take all of your goals, all of your dreams. We're going to put them in a bite-sized chunks, and we are going to upgrade your wellness through doTERRA. Okay. So thank you so much for hanging out with me today. It's been such a pleasure. I really do applaud you and give you a, high five for sticking it out with me on this hour. Like I said at the beginning, a lot of us are stressed and overwhelmed because, we can't focus and we've got all these things going on. So thank you so much for taking the time to watch this and spend some time getting to know wellness, understanding what might be going on in your body, what might be going on in your health, and knowing that you have solutions that you can put together to create the best you moving forward, step by step by step by step. So I will chat with everyone soon. I can't wait to see you fill out the form or see you in my inbox so we can continue this conversation and put your wellness plan together.